It's a Thursday.
Welcome back on a Thursday.
Non Wealth.
This is Lebu.
And this is Nell.
Oh yeah.
Today we'll be speaking about environment.
How does your environment actually affect you?
Environment can make you and it can also break you.
Can break you, man. Stay tuned. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment below. I really like hearing from you guys.
Man, we love the trees around here.
Oh yeah. Got them trees. Alright, so now when we're talking about environment, what are we talking about, right? What are you talking about? Environment is everything that happens around you, right?
Okay.
So this is me, and this guy, he's outside, right? He's the person that's within my environment, right?
Okay.
So now that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the environment that surrounds you as the person, right? So now if it's me, the people and the things that are actually around you actually affect you as an individual, right? So now if I'm constantly in a negative environment, it actually affects me. If I'm constantly in a positive environment, it also affects me,
Okay.
right? So now we'll be talking about the influences, right? How does your environment influence you now?
Environment. I mean, if we take a cell or even a plant or a seed at this particular point in time, we're taking a seed, we plant it. So what happens is that it depends on that seed. How much water will it need and how much sun will it actually need to rise as a flower or as a tree. If the environment is conducive, that tree will be a powerful tree. However, now, if the environment is not conducive towards the needs of that seed, the tree or the plant will not survive.
Okay?
Same applies to us as human beings. We need to be in a conducive environment that will help us achieve to whatever we want to achieve. So now the question will be, okay, we're not seeds. We all know that we're not seeds. We're beings, we're spiritual beings, we're human beings. So now the question will be, what environment do I need? Which environment will be conducive to me as an individual growing towards whatever do I want to achieve? Do you have particular characteristics of environmental needs that will help you?
Well, in terms, as far as my environment, right, and how I actually surround myself around people who are actually influential, right? This is one of the things that I use to actually better me as a person, as an individual, right? So now what I'll do is that I'll go to a seminar, right, in which I can place myself, right, strategically so within an environment that will help me to flourish within the environment, within the thing that I want to do. So now I'm looking at myself as a seed, right?
Okay.
And then I'm planting myself within an environment that will actually help me to grow as a bigger tree, right? Or blossom as a plant.
Okay.
So now that's how I use the environment. So now sometimes it happens that you are born in an environment that is not actually friendly. I mean, we were also born in an environment that wasn't actually healthy for you to actually blossom and become better people, right?
True.
So now what I would do is that I would take myself out of the environment. That's the nice part about not being a plant, right? You can't just take yourself
you can
and
move.
put yourself in this.
You can move.
As a person, I can actually take myself out of the environment that I'm in, place myself in an environment which will actually help me, motivate me, give me more courage to actually push further, right?
True.
So now that's how I actually took myself out of the environment that I'm in and put myself in an environment that will help me to actually blossom.
Environment plays an important role. While we're still looking at the characteristics of environment and the influence it has, environment actually feeds our subconscious mind. Because now what we see every day and then how we actually thinking, I'm not saying that you will actually become your environment, but now you have that option whether to accept or reject whatever that's happening around you. And now what happens is a lot of times that you're born into a bad environment and then after you can see the trends that are happening. And deep inside you know that these trends are not actually going to bring you closer to your dreams but actually drift you far away from your dreams. But now because they're happening on a regular basis, you're actually accepting this as a norm. And now that's the trap that we need to actually not fall into, is that if the environment is not conducive, we need to acknowledge that this environment will not bring me closer to my dreams, but rather drive me further away from my dreams. So we should be able to take note of the environment, whether it is helping us, as you did say that we were not, where we didn't grow up in a positive environment. However, now there's a spin to actually not growing up to a positive environment, because you can learn as much as you want from this negative environment and use all of these skills to make you stronger and you achieving your dream. So yeah, that's what happened with regards to our story of environment.
I mean, also with regards to your environment, right? Sometimes it might be actually something that actually kills you within the long run, right? So now what happens is that you're born in an environment whereby there's a lot of scarcity, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of things that are actually impacting you in a negative way, right? And then you take yourself and put yourself in an environment that will actually help you to thrive, right?
Sure.
But now you reach a certain level, right? Whereby now that you're in this environment, say, you know how much I like money, right? So now, say for instance, you're in an environment whereby everybody earns 10,000 Rand a month, right? Then you take yourself to an environment where everybody earns 50,000, right? So now when you're going into that environment and you're earning 50,000, when you're earning 10,000, right? You'd actually want to thrive to get to the 50,000, right?
Sure.
So now when you have reached that 50,000 mark, what happens is that a lot of people now become comfortable in that 50,000 because now life seems to be better for you, right? Not knowing that once you've reached that 50,000 mark, you move on to someone who earns maybe probably now 100,000. So now that's how you actually keep on pushing yourself up. Because now what happens most of the time is that when you're in an environment and you're seeing everybody being lower than you, less smarter than you, right? You actually tend to relax and
Sure.
you do not actually grow as an individual. So now once you start seeing that you are smarter than the group that you're hanging around with, you actually move on to people who maybe in the circle you are the dumbest, right? It might sound a bit absurd, right? That I'm not dumb, right? But now within that particular group, you are the one who has the least information, right? So now when you're in that group, you can now absorb information from different people. After absorbing that information, then you can actually be stronger within that group and then actually move on. So now we're always trying to do what? We're always trying to improve ourselves.
So now it's clear through that our environment should always constantly be changing and changing towards positivity. So now, and it's also clear that we need to avoid at all costs comfort zone, because comfort zone suppresses us from actually growing as these trees. So now once you become comfort, we'll never grow. We'll always stay in that particular level that you are in life. So let's continuously change, guys. Continuously change environment. If you feel that this environment is not working out for me, I'm not growing anywhere somehow, you need to change your environment. And note that comfort zone is one of the elements that don't actually enable us to grow, but rather infringe us from growing.
Yes. So now remember something that from the previous video. If you do not watch it, please go to the video and watch it, right? So now what we had talked about is the subconscious and the conscious mind, right? So now we talked about that trick, remember? Yeah, remember that trick? Yeah. So now this is where your environment comes into place, right? Your environment, your subconscious feeds off your environment, right? So now when you're seeing people thriving, right? When you're seeing all these beautiful things going on, right? When you see people actually giving back, right? You actually think this is a norm, right? You start believing that this is a norm, that there's abundance in life, right? There's abundance of money, there's abundance of everything, right? You now start getting into the habit of giving. You get in the habit of having actually to help one another, right? So now this is how your environment can actually, your subconscious actually feeds into your environment. So now your subconscious looks at the environment that you are in, and then it tries to adjust your life. In fact, it does not try, it does adjust to the life that is around of you.
Sure. And guys,
surrounding you.
we always hear, or maybe some of you, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but if you've not, this is a quote to take home, that our potential is infinite. So now that quote is very powerful, that potential is infinite. But now my question is, if potential is infinite, why aren't we seeing this potential being displayed everywhere we go? Environment can be one of the reasons why potential is limited and not infinite. So do take charge, do take notice if your environment is actually helping you to get closer to your dreams or not. And the day you find out that this environment is not conducive to me growing towards maximizing my potential, leave the environment as soon as possible, guys. Potential should be infinite.
Non-wealth with environment.
And its influence towards maximizing potential.
And remember something, right? Your potential is infinite.
Non-wealth signing out.